Hi there, Sarah from Standing Up to Scoliosis and a Scolio Temple. I want to do a video today about a big topic, so hopefully I don't talk for too long and go off on any tangents. But it's about scoliosis specific exercises and all the different programs that are out there. So, I mean, we have so many to choose from. So, I'm just going to put this phone down. So how are we going to choose which one is right for us? So I'm going to start by going over the basics of therapy that's appropriate to any health condition. So as a qualified physio, most physios, they get into Pilates. So the type of Pilates I found out recently was actually invented to rehab people after surgery in hospitals, because it's based on just squeezing and getting all the core strength back, and just these little movements of muscles supporting the joints, after operations. And so Pilates isn't really for everyone. A lot of people say they don't really enjoy Pilates when they go, and I didn't really to start with. But having just had a spinal surgery and had the rods removed, Pilates was what got me up and walking again, like the day after I come out of ICU. So literally I was up walking. I got up and I was standing before the physio even came to get me to walk, because of squeezing in my bed, doing some Pilates bridging and rolling on the side, and doing Pilates lying on my side. Like, I had no muscle strength at all when I woke up. I literally was lying in bed like, fuck, I've got no muscles. What's happened? Like, the rods have been taken out and it's just mush. So Pilates is great. And also, when I had the rods in, I would say Pilates was what I ended up doing the most of, just to support and hold the rods in place. So yeah, physios love Pilates, and the scoliosis specific knockoff onto that is, of course, Schroff therapy. So Schroff therapy exercises, they all look like Pilates, but Pilates with loads of equipment, with loads of bands, cushions, wall bars. So it's all isometric, small, slow, controlled exercises, drawing in, stabilizing, the core, using and Schroff in particular is focusing a lot on the arm lines. So they're having a lot of bands holding the pelvis. So obviously, the way we develop, neurologically, you can't just work and isolate one part of the body, because it's all connected. So the great thing about Schroff is, their bands will hold and support the pelvis, so it's supporting you while you strengthen, these arm lines with the wall bars and work on the breath. So, and also Schroff, because they're using elastic bands a lot to draw in, it can be very good for hypermobile people. So since I've had my rods removed, I've got into all these exercises and corrective things. I've really embraced it now. When I had the rods in, I wasn't able to embrace scoliosis corrective exercises. You have to be so careful. I think I've done videos before. When you have the rods in, everything has to be very gentle and just about holding and stabilizing the rods and working around them, because you can't go too deep into anything with the rods. You can't massage too deep. You can't do too deep, primitive reflex exercises, because your body is just going to go, oh, there's two solid rods here, and panic and maybe even reject the rods. So yeah, don't, it's different if you have the rods in, but I'm just talking about corrective scoliosis programs. So yeah, I started coming as a physio, being qualified in Pilates as well. Naturally, after having my rods out, I did Pilates first, and then I went on to Schroff exercises, and also exercises using the bands a lot. Some of them were sort of my own inventions because of the way my unique curve is, but to try and draw in neural stretched nerves and neural tethering up the spine and in the peripheral nerves, So these type of things helped me a lot to start with after I had the rods out. And they were probably initially on my path, what I was drawn to, being a hypermobile person, needing this drawing in, stabilizing, you know, and supporting with the equipments, with the cushions, the bands. You know, I was using my yoga silks a lot to support me lying on, yeah. But now I've got a bit further on, I'm past 6 months post the op, I was finding that this wasn't enough for me. My body just wasn't relaxing fully still, you know. And another area that I have always loved and got really into is Tai Chi. And a knockoff branch from Tai Chi is somatic. So if you're the type of person that is really into grounding and connection to the earth and energy and the flow, you know, through the body and through the organs, you know, you're going to love Tai Chi and martial arts. And I particularly then got interested in somatics after that, because I thought, wow, like somatics is helping people with scoliosis, like with brain injury, with cerebral palsy, and it is really great for making neurological connections. Like for, you know, Pilates claims that it's helping the nerves sort of connect back again because it's slow, controlled movements. And somatics is very similar to that, but it is literally based on your embryological development and your childhood development, and how you release your primitive reflexes as a baby and get muscle tone and strength and become, when you're a baby, you're born, your nerves are totally different, everything's floppy in your body, and you have no myelin sheaths on your nerves. And then as you develop movements, as you start to sit up and roll over and crawl and then stand up, there's reflexes, you know, in loads of parts of your bodies, in your eyes, your tongue, your inner ear, you know, for balance, and then all the way up the body, you know, gripping, and then stepping, you know, stepping reflexes, grabbing, like there's so many. And then, so this type of approach to scoliosis always made the most sense to me. Like it seemed to catch at the deepest level. So that is what I moved on to after sort of doing more of the Pilates Shoff type exercises. And I still occasionally do those ones, but now I do somatics classes with Tai Chi and PRI exercises, because the knockoff from somatics to scoliosis specific exercises is PRI. And PRI, you know, like it's something I particularly got into throughout the COVID pandemic, actually, because a lot of information was shared online about it. And they are pretty much somatic exercises if you've ever done a somatics class, but they are specific ones geared towards a curve, an S-shaped curve, which is the most common curve that people have with scoliosis. Like over 90% have the curve to the right thoracic and the left lumbar, because it follows the natural spirals of our organs and the way the organs, because, you know, like the left lung lobe is like smaller and the right one is bigger, and and there's lots of asymmetries in our organs. So yeah, but the thing with following a PRI program geared towards that curve, even if you've got that curve, you know, it's all with somatics, it's all about awareness and feeling of, you know, where your body's stuck, and doing very subtle movements with those reflexes to try and free them up, you know, because your body stays gripped on to the reflex. So PRI is like doing a small movement with the opposite side to like relax, you know, the side that's gripped on. So which is all great, but you just have to do the specific right one for you, because a lot of like the base, a lot of PRI, they have this 90-90 where you lie on your back and have the feet up, and it's particularly good for aligning the pelvis. So, you know, this is where I think like you know, somatics and PRI really come in, is aligning the pelvis in particular. And this type of thing, you know, is going to support the breath as well, because the lungs grow from the digestive organs and the limbs. So you can see why things like Schroff and PRI really work well for the breath. So, you know, I've really studied and got into these more since the COVID pandemic. Obviously trying to help the mechanics of my breathing more, trying to protect myself, you know, from getting COVID badly. But yeah, so this 90-90, you have to just make sure you adapt it to you specifically. Even if you've got the same curve as someone else, you know, they might say, oh, just push down with the left foot. And that is true. Mostly the left abs, this left side, you know, does need the lift more. But for me, when I first started doing that exercise, I actually did the right foot first, because because of the way my unique curve was trapped and stuck, and the way I was born from the womb, my right foot was hooked under. And if I got a little bit twist to the right first, it anchored me, so then I could push with the left and do the main, you know, 90-90. So I just want to say, you always have to adapt to your unique curve. If you do any program. So this is why I have my website, where I like to educate people about things, because at the end of the day, what we take home with us and learn and apply to ourselves is where we're going to make the most progress. You know, and we don't all have money to pay out a fortune on long programs, you know. And, you know, I've heard so many stories of people have paid so much money out on lots of things, and they haven't really got that much result. So, yeah, this is why I'm doing this video, because you have to pick the one that's right for you. So I've talked about the Pilates and the Schroff, and then I talked about the Tai Chi somatics and the PRI. So Pilates and Schroff, drawing in, stabilizing, you know, limbs, opening the breath from up here, you know, core, drawing into joints, you know, slow, you know, therapeutic. And then Tai Chi, PRI, somatics, all about, you know, calming, grounding, you know, aligning the pelvis, connecting back to the earth, you know, and the ground reflex, you know, from the earth, you know, literally, yeah, helping the vagus nerve, calm everything down. And so, yeah, these were the two things that I was most drawn to, because I'm a skinny, hypermobile person, you know. I need grounding, I need stabilizing and drawing in. And then the third one that people love with scoliosis, that people get curve corrections with, is, of course, yoga. And the Yoga for Scoliosis program. So, yeah, like lots of people with scoliosis, they get drawn to yoga and they get good results from it. Equally, maybe about even half of the people I speak to actually get more pain and get worse from doing yoga. So, you know, this is why I'm doing this video. You've got to pick what's right for you and do it in the right order, because all three of these things are probably going to help some part of your body. But overall, you've got to do what's right for you at the right time. And then you might be able to progress and move on to something different. So I have been doing a bit of yoga in and out in between the, you know, the somatics and the Pilates type ones. Because, you know, I understand the science behind why yoga works, and it follows the meridian lines and the fascia in the body. And if you've got stuck adhesed tissue, you know, that's been from trauma, it's another neuromuscular exercise, like they use in PRI, they use the RI, reciprocal inhibition. It's another one that you stretch and breathe into the tissue where it's stuck, and it lengthens it out. It's I think it's PRI, or all these terms get confusing. But it's a stretch, breathe, you know, relax. Like, you know, a lot of dancers use this stretch, you know, when they're trying to stretch the hamstrings, and you push into it and breathe, and then you get even more stretch, and it stretches the fascia. It's a type of myofascial release and stretch. So yeah, and it follows the meridian line. So yoga is fantastically therapeutic, and it makes total sense why people with scoliosis would be drawn to it. And I have always been drawn to yoga because obviously parts of my body and fascia need that release and stretch, but a bigger part of me needs drawing in and grounding and calming and stabilizing. So I have to do a bit of all of these programs. So yeah, I've talked about the main sort of 3 therapeutic things they used. Then we have loads of other branches of scoliosis programs, which like a chiropractic or osteopathic, or and even personal training. In England, I'm from England, and we have functional patterns, it's called, which is more of a personal training program, and they can get amazing results. I mean, I've even heard stories of people, walking again after stroke when they couldn't really walk before, So these are, again, functional patterns. Like yoga is based on the myofascial, the anatomy trains and the myofascial meridian lines, which Tai Chi is as well. But Tai Chi is more internal, more with the organs. It's not about reaching out and stretching out and it's a slightly different approach, like sort of spiritually, energetically. But yeah, so functional patterns obviously works because it's also including strength training. So I haven't talked about strength training. So again, strength training, if you do it in the right way, if you work with the postural reflexes and you do the weights in the right position where you can train that reflex to strengthen the weak side, the low tone side, and relax the high tone, you're going to get great results from strength training with scoliosis. And yeah, functional patterns is the main program, and it also includes myofascial release like yoga, but I think they're using more equipment to get the release. I mean, sometimes they're doing yoga like what is it, the foam rollers, and you can, a massage, like sports training and strength training, they love their sports massage. So I'm qualified in sports massage, and in sports massage we get taught a lot of myofascial release techniques with neuromuscular components. So yeah, those again, great for scoliosis, but a totally different approach, totally different program. You've got to do what's right for you at the right time. I personally, having only had my rods out just over 6 months ago, I'm not doing too much strength training yet. I'm still getting pain in my back. I'm sticking to more gentle stuff. Hopefully in half a year's time, I'm going to come back and say, oh my God, I'm doing so much strength training. I'm going to show photos of my muscles, and how much more balanced my spine is, muscularly. But I'm not in that place yet. I have tried a lot of this stuff before when I had the rods in, being a professional dancer. My muscle tone and strength and the way my body looked was very important to me. But again, it's just very limited what you can do with rods in. I found I was very limited. That's not to say there are stories of people out there with rods in that have huge muscles. I've seen videos online. I haven't met these people. But what about the Olympic athlete who did the boulder climbing? She had the rods in. So it's all about what suits your body type. And I think because I'm a hypermobile person, my body just didn't take and adapt to the rods as well. I didn't really relax into them. And if you can't relax into your body, you can't build muscle tone and strength because nothing works properly. So something just, maybe it was just bad luck that the way the structure was and the way my specific curve was sort of worked a bit to start with. And then I just didn't really take to it long term. But some people, they do, they have a totally different cause to their scoliosis, totally different curve. So I have heard that the more hypermobile people, bendy, especially Ehlers-Danlos, soft tissue disorders, don't take as well to the surgery. So yeah, what can I say? I am a unique person, and that was my story, and you have your own unique story. So don't, I'm just here to educate in general about what I've learned in my training and science and my experience. So yeah, talked about 4 important big things, the your stretchy yoga one, your grounding, calming, somatic one, your stabilizing, supportive, Schroff, Pilates one, and your strength training, functional patterns one. And then we have other adjuncts to therapy like heat, vibration, sound. You can't leave these things out either, because your spine has an abundance of vibration receptors in the bones, in the joints, we have lots of different nerve receptors in different parts of the bodies. But your bones, like your spine, because of how you have to feel the vibration when you walk through your body, that helps your body proprioceptive the joint position. So vibration is so important, and I see people get great results with the ASMI, which, it's more of an oscillation than a vibration. It's not like a fast vibration, because when you walk, you think of it, it's more oscillating. It's more of a, rhythmical feel. But and heat. So the heat and the vibration. So this man who does ASMI, you've probably seen his group online. He's using heat as well. He's using the ultrasound and the adjuncts that heat the body up and help vibration, and it's like piezoelectric vibration, electromagnetic vibration through the body. So these adjuncts to physio, these things can help as well. So you can't, that's sort of like gone on, this like a 5th thing now. Like there's so much, like such a complex condition, and you might need, we've all got the same anatomy, and we all probably need all 5 of these things, just in different amounts. Like you might need loads of this but tiny bit of that, and quite a bit of that, and maybe the odd time you might need a bit of that. So so education is really paramount if you're going to get results. This is a lifelong condition. You have to put a lot of learning and time into it. I have found, to get anywhere and not be suffering and not be in pain. So heat and vibration, and you get chiropractic programs. The Clear Institute, they add those things in. So the Clear Institute does scoliosis exercises, and it uses bands. It has lots of machines and bands, holding with gravity, and it has vibration and heat, and and I think they might even include, so this is the next big subject, nutrition, herbal medicine, what we put in our body, like supplements, I think they might even include supplements. Oh, and and massage. I haven't even talked about massage. So the Clear Institute they told me they don't include massage, but I think some include supplements, but not all of them. So there's this is the hardest thing, right? You have these programs with their core thing that they offer. So it's like chiropractor, physio and Schroff, somatic PRI, personal training, functional. But a lot of therapists, they become holistically trained. So it just depends where you live. You'll go and you'll do one program and it's just the exercises. And that is the main thing you would expect if that's what it's called. But then sometimes, like Scoliosis SOS is a Schroff one. It has myofascial massage as well. And it has counselling. That's an 8th thing. Psychological, spiritual counselling, so there's a lot of things to think about. And, ideally you want to find a therapist who's holistic and knows about all these things and is qualified in all of them. But you're never going to find one who does all of them, because no one has the time or the money to train in all those things. But you might find one who does 3 of those things, maybe even 4, if you're really lucky, So look around, shop around, and you might have to travel far. Or now we can do things online. So yeah, you might not need to travel. You might just find the right person. You might buy one of their videos online. I've done this. I really loved Erin Meyer's Scolio Pilates. I bought her book and I bought one of her videos online, and I learned something that really helped my curve, because I knew I was drawn to her when I read her book. I knew there was something I needed, some knowledge I needed from that lady. So thank you, Erin. And it's the same with other people that I've learned from online. You know, if you learn to meditate and learn to tune into your body, you learn what people you're drawn to, what things you need to learn. So, you know, meditation is another thing, you know, personal, intuitive meditation, you know, and that side of things. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people aren't into that, so I'm not going to talk about that too much. We're going to be talking about real, physical, practical things that are actually going to get somewhere, because a lot of people think meditation is just a bit woo-woo and just connecting and about the afterlife, and, you know, which, of course, it's not if you really understand it and get into it, but you have to... You know, you have to get everything else first. You have to be in the right place to understand the benefits of practicing a spiritual, you know, of practicing meditation and spirituality within real life. You know, you have to, yeah, so not everyone is in that place, in that. And sometimes really, like, it helps people the most when they are sick and unwell and lost, and they need to, like, orientate their nervous system and their consciousness back into their body again, you know. So yeah, a lot of people do get into that stuff when they're trying to help their scoliosis, but equally a lot of people just hate it and are put off with anything religious or spiritual, which is sad, but there's a lot of people abusing that. There's a lot of people brainwashing people, trying to get them to do their prayers, their mantras, trying to force their, like, you know, ancestry onto someone else when that doesn't work for them. You know, we all have our unique DNA and spiritual blueprint. We all have to follow our unique path. So, you know, you can't really have a guru who's going to understand everything about you. You can't. You just, you know, we're all mixed. A lot of us are mixed race, mixed ancestry nowadays, and we don't follow a set spiritual path. So, and then also, can I just say, there's a lot of, like, people just trying to make money and, like, making stuff up out of spirituality and just saying, oh, I felt that energy, that spirit, that, you know, and it doesn't look good. It really doesn't look great, because a lot of it's fake. It's not genuine. Like, they might have a genuine ability, but they're not really connecting to you, and you're paying them money and they're just making shit up. Because you can't force a spiritual connection. You can't force, you know, God to move. You know, if you do like a reading or psychic reading, or you go for like you know, either that person connects to you and knows you on a soul level in their DNA, or they don't, you know. Can't be forced. You can't force spirituality into a program. Just like, really deep down, your unique curve can't be forced into one exercise program. And we all need different herbs, different nutritions at different times to help our body. So I'm sidetracking again, but yes, massage and nutrition, very, very important things as well for releasing tension in the body with massage, and then with nutrition and the right herbal medicines. You know, because some people get scoliosis from viruses and infections in their body, like polio. And, you know, some people have scoliosis from toxins trapped in their system. Like, you know, the functional medicine testing has found that people can have mercury poisoning, they can have plastic poisoning, gas poisoning. So what you eat, you know, is essential as well. And you know, if you do all these physical therapies, exercises, massage, myofascial release, but you don't eat the right things, that can be dangerous, because your body goes into a healing crisis to flush toxins out after you have massage and after you exercise. And if, you know, this is why some people don't feel like exercising and they don't want to be touched. They're like, no, don't touch me. They don't want a massage because they're being protective over themselves, because they know that if someone touches them and releases something, a toxin will get released into their system and they won't be able to clear it out because they smoke 40 cigarettes a day, you know? Something like that, you know. And some people, they've been too unwell. They have too much bacteria, virus in their body. They're not ready for hardcore exercise and pumping blood around their body, because they're going to then pump bacteria and virus around their body. It's just logical. And there's science proving, you know, that you have, like with cancer, like you don't massage a cancer lump and spread cancer around the body. Like you don't take an aggressive approach to any therapy program. You do it slowly, gradually, bit by bit, of what someone can handle, and you make sure they're eating the right foods and they're detoxing themselves and they're, you know, because if someone keeps eating poison, their body will carry on being tense because it won't want to release the poison into the body. Like, your scoliosis is never going to be corrected if you don't eat the right things. So that, like, so important. If you don't find supplements that are going to help, like if you have mercury poisoning and you don't find any supplements going to help with that, you are never going to get a correction of that part of the curve. You might correct some parts of the curve that are caused by, you know, physical forces, muscular tension, physical traumatic injury. If it's caused from toxins, you know, or a virus, you're not going to correct that with the physical exercises. So yeah, I think I've nearly talked about everything now. Obviously, I haven't gone into much detail about massage, but there's lots of different massage techniques, and that's a whole other subject you could talk for ages about. And scoliosis specific massage, there's not so much of that about either. And one thing that comes to my mind is the scar work and the bone rolling work from Sharon Wheeler. If you want to talk about scoliosis specific massage, you know, it's like myofascial work, and myofascial work ranges from soft, gentle touch like Bowen to deep tissue massage. You know, you need both with scoliosis. You need to calm the nerves with gentle stuff, but you also need to release deep, stuck, you know, adhesions. But the bone rolling is more like a somatic approach where you go deep, you know, with gravity into the bone and release the stuck, where the tissues are stuck in the joints. And it's all like scar work where you're releasing adhesion. So I'd probably, let's say you want to go for, you know, myofascial massage like rolfing or structural integration, but with a scar tissue specialist, scar work specialist, and bone rolling specialist. You want to sort of go that way with the massage. But yeah, I do see rolfers, people structural integrationists. I've seen case studies with people with scoliosis, and the posture is more corrected as well, just with the massage program. But obviously, I say just with the massage program, probably they were doing exercise programs at the same time and other things. So this is the hard thing. Like, if you see a case study, you don't know everything else they're doing in their life. And the problem with science is they do these randomized controlled trials, the bane of my life. Why? I'm so fed up with our health system and the way it's run financially. Like, how can categorizing people into one program get a result with a complex holistic health condition? It's not realistic. You might get a small result in some people who go because luckily those people were eating the right things as well, you know, and they were maybe going to the gym and doing some other type of exercises as well. So look, you know, don't believe everything the science studies show and what your doctor tells you, because even your doctors and surgeons don't even really know that much about even the research that there is out there for scoliosis for physical therapy, because a lot of it is very new, and a lot of it is not getting enough significant result in these randomized controlled trials. So doctors aren't really listening. But if you look at individual case studies and people who dedicate their life to learning holistically how to heal and help a body get back into balance, you can see remarkable results and improvements in posture, and not full corrections, because once something's damaged in the body, it doesn't ever fully necessarily regenerate again. We don't have, that's why doctors are working on stem cells. We don't have cures for everything, and sometimes the body has redirected the blood flow and the structure, and it's harder to then get that, shift it back when you don't have the right thing to regenerate, all the stuff that's already damaged and fallen. But we're not expecting full miracles. Maybe there is some magical herbal medicine out there in the Amazon that can help us with scoliosis that we don't know about yet. But I'm just talking about programs that are going to get you out of pain and help correct the curve, maybe by half. I see a lot of people get half, 50% correction, maybe a tiny bit more even at the best. And of course, if you only have one of those functional scoliosis where it's not as big and it doesn't when you bend forward, then I have seen people that look like they've got almost like a full correction with that. It is possible. So keep going. I think I got up to 7 or 8 different areas where you have to do a bit of all of them, really, but you have to find what's right for you at the right time for you. And I didn't really talk that much about the spiritual and meditative side, and like the sound and mantra, and this part is equally as important, really, as the physical vibrations through the body, because our consciousness and our mind and our and our psychology probably is, that energy is affecting our body as well. But people just don't really like this so much because it's not something that we can control, I guess, as well. But you can find your song, find your heartbeat, you can find your path where you fit in, the environment in the earth that you fit in, the energy around you that suits you, the people that suit you around you. These things can make a huge difference to if someone progresses. Like, what was it I read in Erin Meyer's book? People with parents who supported them, who were in a supportive environment growing up, they got a lot more and quicker results correcting their curve than people with parents that were like, oh, bye, oh, this isn't going to work, but, who were very negative. So, psychology and energy and spiritual aspect is important and relevant as well, but it is far more complex, and it's not what I'm qualified in. I'm qualified in physical therapy, and I am actually doing a herbal medicine course next year as well, because I just know that people are more interested in the, these physical, real things they can grab hold of and take on and learn. And, I don't really, I just think that that's just the approach I would rather take to helping people. And then I think they can find their own sort of spiritual, psychological path. But for sure, there's times where we need a counsellor, where we're lost, and we need to find it can help going to a church and being around a prayer, that energy that's going to help you. Like, prayer can help you when you're really unwell. It can keep you alive when you're having a serious surgery. If you have people praying for you that love you, it can make a difference between a success and not a success. So totally don't diss these things. It's just that I don't know how to advertise, as a therapist and train, and how to learn logically how to sell that sort of thing. Like, I'm not sure about selling religion and spirituality and counselling. I don't really know how to do that. But, definitely I've paid money and gone to see these people for these things. And if you see the right person, go to the right church, it helps. So, okay. This was a really long talk, and I I hope it's shed some light and helped anyone with, you know, what program they should really go towards, what type of body type they have, and yeah, I hope it's helped at all. All right, thank you very much. Just finished with my butterfly. Bye.